Well, the tree is itself such an important part of life. It's trees. I think they're staying like right now when I talk to you. I don't know, probably at least a couple thousand trees around me, and they stand there in front of you, and you have to have a relationship to them. And I think anything like that is so common in your experience. I guess people who grow up in a desert wouldn't have that experience, but I do. And so the tree is going to become mythic. Most things in life, most things that have any value to them, they shift over time from being ordinary and factual to mythic. That means they have another layer of meaning that they haven't had before. Your own house can become a myth. If you're with it long enough and if you love it, you begin to tell stories about it and the things that take place in it. It has its mythic side. I grew up I spent a lot of time in my youth in a farmhouse in upstate New York with barns and various houses, and there was no plumbing in the house. It's quite a nice experience. And now that house has become a myth, and my family often comes with me and we visit that old house. It's just a ruin now. But even as a ruin, it seems even more sacred, which is almost the same as saying mythic.
Yeah, I
So,
think it was not to cut you off, but I think I read maybe it was Richard Rohr one time. He said that we think of myth as something that's not true, but in the way he and a lot of mystics use it, it means something that's truer than true. Is that correct?
absolutely.
There's a sacred layer beneath this,
Yes.
contained within this house, contained within whatever it is. There's stories, there's
Okay.
soul, there. Yeah,
Yeah, all of those things apply. So any of those words could be used interchangeably in a way. So what happens is that you experience that thing at another level. It has a much more meaning, and it even takes on a certain reverence. You may feel reverence for it, as we do the house and the country that I spent all those years in. It's now a holy place in a way, not in any religious sense, typical religious sense, but in the sense that in our family it's holy. It wouldn't be that for people in another family, probably, but for us it is. And so it has another level. It has risen to another level. A tree can do that. So a tree is just a tree, but if you have a special tree, it really goes. I'll give you another example. My mother, my dear mother, who died 15 years ago, uh, she had a tree in her yard. It's called the Rose of Shannon. Rose of Sharon. I always mix that up. Rose of Sharon. And so when I have moved to different houses over the years in my life, I have planted a Rose of Sharon tree. We have one next to our house right now. That tree is not an ordinary tree. That tree is my mother's tree. It's like her. It's an image for her. The Christmas tree is closer to that. It's a tree that has been elevated in meaning and reverence because it's been associated. Uh, for example, the Bible associates that tree with the tree in the Garden of Eden. Well, that tree is a very special tree. The story of Eden, which I would call a mythology, and I don't mean to say it's not real. I mean that it is very real. Uh, that tree of Eden helps us see that all trees have a certain holiness to them. And so when it comes to Christmas time, uh, we associate Christmas with a tree. It's not in the original story, but it has been associated with Christmas. And it is brought into the house, which is unusual. You don't usually bring a tree into your house. So that shows how unusual and special this tree is. And then we put lights on it because, as we might see in our conversation, Christmas is really a celebration of light. So we put lights on the tree. Originally, people put actual candles on the tree. It's hard to imagine. They go up in flames so fast. But we put lights and bulbs on the tree. We make it special, and we show that this tree is not a literal tree. Literal trees don't have lights and little decorations on them. We have transformed the tree into something meaningful to us, deeply meaningful. We bring that tree into our house. We keep it in our house for a little season, a short season. And we have gifts under the tree, which shows we might be able to talk about gifts later, how important they are to Christmas. And so we bring that tree there, and we have sanctified it. We have seen the sanctity of the tree, and we bring it into our world, and it helps give us the glow of Christmas by having that tree in our homes.